Yo, guys, welcome back to the Fryday podcast. I'm your favorite host, Big J.
And I'm RJ.
And today we got a very, very special guest, one of Leicester's hidden gems.
Fully.
Well, it's not even hidden gem, actually. Everyone knows about him, man.
I was about to say.
He don't need no introduction. Used to be the boxing Binman, Rendall Munroe himself. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for your time today. We'll get straight into it, man.
Yeah, man.
So I believe you're Leicester born?
Yeah, born and bred.
Early life, which area were you born into?
Well, it's a bit of a weird one because obviously I was born Highfields.
Okay.
My house got flooded as a baby still, so then I moved Belgrave.
Yeah.
I grew up in Belgrave at primary school.
So due to that flooding,
I moved to Belgrave.
Okay.
And then obviously from Belgrave, when I went to senior school, I moved to Bantamweight.
Okay.
So I've been here, there and everywhere. And then obviously when I was old enough to leave home, I went to St Matthews.
Yeah.
From St Matthews to Northfields.
Oh, so you've been
You've been around then, yeah?
Been everywhere.
You might not remember because you just said you were a baby, but you know the floods did affect a lot of people back then, did you?
Oh, no, it was just my house.
Oh, just that one
Yeah,
yard?
one of the pipes burst in the house.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
obviously the whole house got flooded, so obviously we had to move. Obviously, I think I was only like 1, 2 at the time.
Okay, yeah.
So obviously we had,
And
to,
then-
we had to go somewhere.
That's crazy.
You moved, you said Belgrave.
Yeah.
How old were you when you moved out of Belgrave?
I was 11, I think I was.
Oh,
11
so
when I moved to
primary
Belgrave.
school was like
yeah,
Belgrave
yeah,
sides?
yeah. So I used to go to St Patrick's Primary School.
And how was the household there? You got any brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I got a brother, obviously younger than me but bigger than me. Obviously, you know, I ain't the biggest lad, am I? So, but I got a younger brother, Aaron. I've got an older sister, obviously half sister, who lives in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Oh,
so-
nice.
Yeah.
And mum and dad?
Mum and dad, yeah. Obviously my dad from Jamaica. Obviously he lives here. My mum, she's from here. Beaumont Lees. My dad's Firmiston now, I think he is. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So early life, what was like the influences growing up? What kind of music did you listen to?
Reggae, man. That's it.
Reggae,
through and
straight
through,
reggae,
man.
yeah?
You know what I mean? That's it. Obviously, when I started to get a bit of a teenager, obviously started to move around my cousins and that at that age, and drum and bass,
Yeah.
garage. You know what I mean? Obviously, old school hip hop. Obviously, a few of my older cousins was into the old school hip hop. It weren't really my thing, but you know what I mean? When you're just moving along with everyone, So, but still to this day, I'm just reggae through and through.
So interest, were you interested in sports back then? Because I know you started boxing a bit late.
It was a weird one because I always say, educationally wise, I wasn't the brightest kid, but you know, physically,
Yeah.
I was involved in everything. Obviously, athletics, football. Do you know what I mean? Anything where, as I used to say, as long as it ain't a bookwork, I'm in. You know what I mean? So that was my thing really. So yeah, as a sports, I was into sports, but anything really active, really, I was into.
But did you sort of like, you know, I know that you said you're into active stuff, but did you sort of like, was boxing a sort of thing in your mind at that time?
No. Obviously, my dad boxed. Obviously, I went a few times with my dad to the gym. Obviously, just to watch my dad while he was there.
Was he a
obviously
professional
young.
boxer, yeah?
No, only amateur.
just- yeah.
And my uncle as well was an amateur boxer. And to be fair, my uncle was meant to fight my dad.
Oh,
But
shit.
it never happened because obviously then they realised that obviously my dad was going at my mum, which was my uncle's brother, wasn't it? So that's why that fight never happened. But yeah, so no, I don't think there was. If I'm honest, there was no intention in boxing anyway. I think it was just my dad was always strict about education because his thing was obviously he says he came from the Caribbean with no education and life was hard for him over here, getting jobs and things like that. So for me, it was like bookwork all the time, and I was getting to that age now where my mates were starting to go out and roll and chill.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, this one day I'm like, come home to my mum and says, oh, I'm going to part with my mates. And she goes, you're not? I said, I am. She says, your dad won't have it. And I've walked out the house. And as I walked out the house, someone's like, no, I'm in trouble here, man. So, and it was a kind
bit
of...
wary in that.
Yeah, what can I do? So my uncle used to own a boxing gym down the road.
Okay.
So I thought, right, I'll just tell my dad when he hears about it.
I went there.
I went there, innit? I pretend to be a boxer for a bit. So that's how the boxing really started. There was no intention about being a boxer. It was just...
To get out of the bookwork.
To get out of the bookwork.
You know what it is as well, yeah? Nowadays, I think that it's more recognised that not everyone's going to be good at the books.
Oh, yeah,
There's
fair
other
enough.
things that you're going to be good at and you
of
get
course.
pushed.
Yeah.
You know, back then, were you pushed to do other stuff apart from the bookwork, or because you said your dad was back from yard and he said
No.
book?
It was just like everything. My dad was very hard about education. Do you know what I mean? I think, like you say, his growing up life was obviously coming here with nothing.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
kind of like seeing how hard it was. Do you know what I mean? How it was. It's like obviously, most people know my dad. He still is, I reckon. He's the only black council worker in the city centre.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Big
what I
up
mean? He's
Pops,
been doing
man.
that
Oh, sick, man. Big
20
up.
odd years. And if I'm honest, little things, little stories used to tell me that the only reason he got the job was because race relations got involved, because he went for an interview. His interview was 9 o'clock in the morning, and he was still waiting at the place at 4:30 in the afternoon, waiting for his interview. So little things like where he used to tell me, look, this is how hard things are. You got to understand. If you haven't got an education, you're a black lad as well. It can be hard. So that's why for me it was like education. But I wasn't the cleverest kid like that. Do you know what I mean? So
Was it same for your brother and your half sister as well? Just education?
yeah. My brother was the same. Obviously, like you say, growing up like that. Obviously, my sister, I've spoke to my sister. I've never really met my sister.
Okay.
Obviously, she's always lived in the Caribbean.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But obviously, my brother here, it was the same. Obviously, he was only 2 years younger than me, so everything was the same, really. Do you know what I mean?
They just want a better life for you, innit?
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's it. That's what it
literally
was, isn't it?
literally
Do you know
what
what I
it
mean?
is, isn't it? They just want a better life for you, and obviously if they haven't gone it, they haven't done it themselves. They just want it for you.
So I seen the other podcast you did. You said you got into boxing at like 15.
Yeah, 15 years old.
Why was it so late in your life? Was Pops always saying, "No, this is not for you. This is not for you"?
Well, it was one of them. My uncle used to say to my dad all the time, "Oh yeah, why don't you send him down the gym, And my dad was like, "Look, he ain't ready for boxing." Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think my dad was one of them who knew what boxing was about. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it's that
rough
side
and
of it
that.
where he looked at it as there's other opportunities out there for me rather than the boxing. And I think it not only that, I think he was one of them that if you're not 100% in something, it don't work. So he didn't really want me to be, you know what I mean, dipping in, dipping out, dipping in. Do you know what I mean? So, and like I said, in the end, I went there just because I didn't want to get myself in no trouble. So I just wanted to pretend to be a boxer for a bit. Do you know what I mean? So, but then it just carried on from there.
What's your earliest boxing memory?
My first amateur fight, really, I think I'd been in the gym for about 4 or 6 weeks.
Oh, not even that long?
No. That's
4 or
it.
6 weeks, that's
so
it.
my uncle, obviously, sticky, Dave Pratt, obviously he passed away now. I remember he says, "I got you a fight," and I was like, no.
I'm just doing this for joke. I'm trying to get out
It's a joke
of this.
thing, man. I only meant to come practice, pretend for a bit, and then get off.
no.
Do you know what I mean? So because no, I got you a fight, and I remember there used to be another lad who used to box, Bernie McDonough, traveller lad.
Okay.
So we went all the way to Northampton in the back of one of his dad's transit vans, you know, like bumping about in the back of the van on the wheel arch, sitting on the wheel arch.
I remember them days, you know.
Yeah. So went all the way to Northampton, first fight, boxer lad, stopped him in the second round.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, that was a lucky punch. So I was like, but then it
Was
was
you
like,
ready for it? How was you feeling in the back of this tranny?
oh man,
Oh, your wife for that, sorry.
yo, shiting myself all the way there. You get me?
Yo, cut that shit out. Cut that out.
The ultimate why. The ultimate why.
That's not too why. Your wife for that. I said it though. I got it.
Jason's depressed. Even Jason's disappointed, bro. You see him, he's like,
No,
no.
I caught it though. Sorry, in the back of the transit, on the way to Northampton, how was you feeling? Were you confident or were you like...
Oh, nervous, because obviously it weren't meant to go like this. It was a just but not even practice. It was just pretend to be a boxer for a bit, you know, just to stop the beats. You get me?
Yeah,
you know,
no,
one of
I
them
get
ones
that.
where you're thinking, yo, just. But then it was like, obviously, my dad was, if you want to be a boxer, you got to go. So I always remember even like when I told him, I'd say, because he turned up at the gym looking for me, and then my uncle was like, "Alan, don't worry, man. He's a good kid. Don't worry, I'll look after him." So I remember the next morning he woke me up like, "Oh, you want to be a boxer? You forgot running my you." So he sent me out. I've gone round the block, come back, and he's looked at his clock. He's gone, "I don't run that, man. Go again." So that's it. So it started from there, and he was on one of them where if you're gonna do it,
Do it properly.
do
That's
it right.
Do it all
So,
in, innit?
yeah,
That's
so,
it. Go all in.
You know what I mean? Like I say, my first fight, I was nervous, like anyone would be. Do you know what I mean? But I won it. And then it was kind of one of them where it kind of went from there, where I just started to enjoy it a bit. But not only just enjoying, I think it just gave me something to do.
Yeah. It
Just
gives
gave
you
me something
purpose,
to do.
innit,
Yeah,
as well.
it gave me something to do.
What's the toughest part of training no one talks about?
I always tell everyone the homework, I always call it. Do you know what I mean? In the gym, you're with your friends, you're having a laugh, you're having a joke, you're talking between rounds, you're having a chat. You know what I mean? You're having competitions, doing exercises. The bit when it's outside on your own and you got to go for runs on your own, you got to go in the park, do your little exercises on your own. That's the hardest bit. And like obviously now I teach boxers now, and I always say to them and youngsters, homework is the hardest bit about boxing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? When you're out there on your
facts.
own, it's raining outside and You got
ain't got no one to motivate you.
Yeah,
You're
facts.
gone. Do you know what I mean? It's like my friends used to say to me, when did I see you running for miles? Ain't never got a running partner. I says, yeah, me and my mate, iPod, innit?
That's it. That's all you need.
That's it.
Quickly going back to your first fight, yeah. You know, you said it was 4 to 6 weeks, yeah. Were you doing your diet thing there? Were you training every day?
Man, no, a diet thing. Man, it's yamming anything.
This was just
yeah. Just I was kind of healthy eater anyway. Like you say, my dad was all about the right food, so I was a kind of healthy eater anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I say, it was just going to the gym, doing the road work, exercises, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday morning sessions. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Week in, week out.
So how along the line was the second fight from?
I think it was only about 2 weeks later. Because like I say, I fought the same guy twice.
Okay,
Obviously, they tried to say I think I stopped him with a body shot in the first fight, and they tried to say it was a lucky punch. So we had a rematch, and I stopped him in the first round.
Forget what they say. What did you think?
Yeah. Oh man, mate, it was me innit. I threw the shot in it, man. I stopped him end off, but I proved it by the second one innit, because I stopped him in the first round for the second one.
Okay,
And then I think that's when it all went a bit wrong for me. I think that's when the teenage start coming into it, because then I thought I was Tyson. Then I don't need to train properly for the next one. So obviously I lost the third one. And in my whole career, in my amateur career, I lost the third fight. Every third fight I lost. Because I'd have this thing that I train hard for 2. And I'm up there now, I'm cool, man. I can take my foot off the pedal and I'd lose the third every single time.
So I heard the story as well about bookies. You didn't know what bookies was?
Yeah. No, so obviously that was when I turned pro, obviously.
Okay, was that pro, yeah?
Yeah. Them things were when I turned pro. Obviously, I was never into nothing like that. Obviously, my mates all into football and things like that, and used to put a few bets on here and there. And then obviously, when I got, like I say, my pro career, they gave me the opportunity to fight Kiko Martinez.
Right, guys, I need to go move the car.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I want to listen to the story.
Yeah. I need to watch.
But you know what? We need to go back. We'll go back to amateur first.
Yeah.
Sorry. I knew you shouldn't have parked there today.
Bro, don't.
Yeah. I was gonna say, before you tell that story, amateur. How many fights did it take to get to the pro level, and what? You done the Binman job. How long the line was that?
So obviously for me, as an amateur, I had 40 amateur fights.
40?
Yeah, 40 amateur fights, 130.
Sick, man.
Even like, you can turn pro when you want.
Okay.
To be fair, you can turn pro when you want. Obviously, you get some lads intensely box for England, win ABAs, promoters start coming, offering them money to turn over, turn pro. For me, I kind of went away from the boxing. Obviously, I met my girlfriend, which we're still together to this day. She got pregnant. Yeah. And then it was like the boxing kind of started to slide away, because it was more or less, I got to find work now. You know what I mean? I got to do something. I weren't living the right life at the time. Do you know what I mean? I was dipping in and out of the boxing. And then to be fair, it was my uncle, obviously, who told me took me amateur. He was the one who says, "Oh, Rendall, you got a kid, you got a crap job. Why don't you turn professional, man? 500-600 quid a fight." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I could do that right now." Do you know what I mean? Take me where I need to go. And obviously, he took me up to the Shinfields gym, and then obviously I spoke to them, did a training session out there, and they turned around and says, "Oh yeah, he's got potential. Just need him to sign contracts, get medicals done and all that." So
is that what it takes to be a pro? Just sign contracts and
So basically, you obviously have to have medicals. You have to find a trainer. You have to find a manager.
Yeah.
But like I say, so it's all on that side of it.
And do they have to see something in you? You can't just be anyone.
Well, you can. Yeah, true. You can get some, because don't forget, a lot of it is if you're fighting, they're getting paid. Simple as that. That's how it rolls. You fight, they get paid too. As long as you're getting paid, they're getting paid.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So it's one of them, innit? But a lot of the times, a lot of managers are looking out for the superstar, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
that's all it takes for them as well, isn't it? To blow.
That's it. You know what I mean? They get a superstar in the gym and they're getting looked after as well as the fighters getting looked after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're doing the Binman thing and you're doing the boxing at the same time.
The Binman thing, that didn't even come. That came later on again.
Later as well?
Yeah.
So you turned pro, you did the boxing thing.
So when I turned pro, I was doing... what was I doing to start off with? Oh, I was labouring. I was on the building yard labouring. But then they're telling me I'm getting too big. So then I'm like, oh, flipping it, man. So I'm having to look for another job now.
Yeah.
So then I went into making double glazed windows
on
Parker Drive. So I went there and obviously started working for them. But then it became a job where I was struggling to get to the gym.
Oh, it's
so
like a timing
I was
thing.
like, oh, the timing for me, I'm struggling. So basically, I was like, I kept saying to people, oh, what I need to get something else. What can work for me, around the boxing. And my brother said to me, he says, why don't you become a bin man? I was like, sure, man. What do you mean a bin man? He goes, yeah, because bin
Early
man's
one, innit?
job and knock.
Yeah.
You start, the quicker you get your round done,
It's done.
the quicker you can go home.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay then, cool. So I went to an agency. My brother put me on to one guy who ran an agency. And obviously that's where the bin man thing came from.
Okay.
Because it was perfect for me.
Yeah, the
training,
timing,
do you know
innit?
what I mean?
Yeah.
Perfect. So
did they all know what your background was and what you do?
no. So I kept it on the quiet because same again. At the time, it was like the boxing was there. Nobody knows how far the boxing's going to go.
Yeah.
It was an extra income for me anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously, I had a family now. Do you know what I mean? So it was more
to provide
important
for
that I
that.
need to make sure I can get to work. So even to the point of I didn't even tell them I was boxing at work. Do you know what I mean? I was just coming in doing my job. Obviously, on the bins you call it a gang. So you have a driver and you have another loader with you. Do you get what I mean? So obviously. The people there, they knew who I was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But what I was doing, but
not, yeah.
but not the management type of thing. I had to keep that on the quiet.
Do you remember the first time when someone you didn't know recognized you?
Yeah, I think it got to a bit of a point where I think I just won the English title.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
I was in the papers and that. And then I always remember one of the bosses called me in the office. And I was like, oh, man. I was all over the Mercury now. And then one of the bosses called me in the office and he goes, oh, we've just seen who you are. So I'm like, yeah. So he's like...
That's just hobby I do.
Yeah,
That's
that's it. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to like keep it on the low, if you get what I mean, type of thing. So it was that kind of one where I just says, oh, look, my job's more important for me now. I'm boxing, yeah, don't get me wrong, I enjoy my boxing, but...
Yeah, and I'm good at it.
I'm good at it, but for me, it's about my work.
Yeah,
I've got a family to feed. I need to work. So I've not said nothing because I don't want it to jeopardize my job.
Yeah.
And he turned around to me then and he goes, look, anything we can do to help, you just let us know.
Okay, so
from
they're behind you.
Yeah. So from that point on, I used to get my manager, when I had fights coming up, I used to get my manager to write a letter in.
Yeah.
So I could take it to the manager and ask for some time off.
And
you know what I mean? So they used to give me time off. Everyone used to say, oh, you're sponsored by Biffa and that, but I said it was no sponsor. They just give me free time off. So if I had 6 weeks off, it was no pay for 6 weeks. But, do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's one of them ones where sometimes you take the rough with the smooth, and I think in my own mind, I had the belief in myself where I was going.
Yeah.
So it was
100%.
kind of that one where, man, I got to take the risk.
Yeah, no,
risk for reward, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes in life you just have to, innit?
Yeah,
It's just like that, man.
that's it.
You know, in a fight, how do you
on,
push through pain and fatigue? Because you know what, you see some boxers, and I'm watching, like, how the hell can you go through another round? Like, and they just
It's weird, you know, because you don't feel nothing. You don't feel
Adrenaline
nothing.
at the time, innit?
Yeah, man, you don't feel
Endorphins kick in or something.
Next day, you're hurting. Next day's hurting. But on the day, you're just getting on it. You're so into it. And sometimes, I always say it's that one where you're so focused, even like, you don't really hear nobody else. You know, if you're focused, you don't hear nothing else.
They're all shouting at you that, but you're not hearing nothing. You're just on.
So the crowd will
in there.
silence.
Yeah. You don't hear nothing. You don't hear nothing. It's learning. It's one of them things where you got to learn to turn them things off. Do you know what I mean? You have to learn to turn them things off, because in my first pro fight, I made that mistake by hearing the crowd. And man just went nuts in there, chucking. I was surprised I didn't catch the ref, the bombs I was swinging. Do you know what I mean? I got so excited. But it's that learning to go, look, you've just done a training camp for 6 to 8 weeks.
And this
of
is the
doing
moment.
This is the moment to execute everything you've been training. So a lot of the times it's forget about what's going on, and you're so visioned in what you're doing that, like I say, the pain, the adrenaline. It's a weird one because I was always so fit anyway. So the tiredness, I never really got that tiredness, if you get what I mean.
You had that.
But I was
energy.
always that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That one there.
Yeah, no, I get that, man.
Well, you spoke about the title win. What was your? Do you want to tell me, because you went in? What was your first title win, and how was that feeling?
My first title win, I won the English title. I got an opportunity to fight for the English title against Mark Callahan.
And you know, when you get an opportunity to fight like that for a title, does your management deal with it? How do you get the opportunity?
Yeah. So the first opportunity I got to fight for a title was I got to fight for the British title against Andy Morris. I think I had about 4 weeks' notice for it. They says, "Oh, look, you got an opportunity to fight for a featherweight title."
Yeah.
Andy Morris at the time was a bronze medalist in the Commonwealth Games as an amateur, so it was a good name.
Good, yeah.
I'd only boxed 6 rounders before, So it was an opportunity for me, and my manager came to me and says, look, we've got this opportunity. What do you think? And I'm like, well, if we win with the next star, if we lose and we lose good, it's preparation. Do you know what I mean? And obviously that fight, it was a close fight. Do you know what I mean? I think for me, if the title was vacant, I might have been in with a shout. Yeah. But I'm not gonna say I didn't lose because I lost. But I'd showed everyone who I was. So people were already talking, and it was the weight above. And
by this time, were you already like trained in your mind? Because some people can't take losses; they don't take it very well.
So for me, it was that one where I was a bit gutted with myself because I'd never been by 6 rounds in a fight before. Yeah. It was my first 12 rounder, but I'd been sparring 15 rounds, 20 rounds. You know what I mean?
So you've been training for it.
So I've been training for that, but it's that. Hold a bit back. I don't want to blow myself back. Hold a bit back. And I always remember at the end of the 12th round, I've gone to my coach and I've gone, I can't believe it, man. I still got plenty left in the tank, man. Why didn't I just go more? Yeah, but because you're not experienced to do it, you're holding a little bit back. You're holding a little bit back.
And even when you're training, obviously you're training, but you're not training as on that moment in it. When you're in the
that's
moment,
it. So as hard as you're training, if you get tired in the gym, you get tired in the gym and you stop. You know what I mean? Or you push yourself that little bit further. But in the fight, you're going, I don't want to get to that point. So you kind of like, hold a bit, don't blow myself out. So after that, obviously, I think I proved myself that good. It took 12 months to get another fight. You know what I mean? Wow. So, like you say,
boxing's a big weighting.
Yeah. So basically, I think one of the things is I used to tell a lot of people, I'm a super bantamweight. The fight was a featherweight. Yeah. Get me a fight at super bantam, and then we'll see what's going on. That's my weight class.
I know we're gonna get onto this, but I got to speak about this. What do you think of YouTube boxing?
It's a joke, really, but fair play. I've always said any of them YouTubers want me to knock them out for £1 million. I'm down. Give me a shout.
It's a big money game, isn't it?
It is a big money game.
You know what it is? It's like I tell even like say I train fighters now, and I'll always say to them, look, what we need to realize, and I think I made the mistake for myself, as in everything for me was boxing, nothing else. I wasn't interested in nothing else. You know, like people used to come and go, oh, we got an event on, will you come? And I used to be like, oh, when is it? Oh, it's on this day, at this time. Man, I got training, man. I got training. Even if I weren't fighting, it was like, I got training. Yeah. You know what I mean? People just go. And I was a bit of a shy kid as well. Do you get what I mean? So even though, like, I can talk now, but even that then, I was a bit like, I always say to people now, I struggle when I go to places, you know, like with small talk. Because I'm not that. Come in. When people want to talk to you, I can talk. But when it's like go somewhere and everyone's looking at you like, I say? You know what I mean?
You get a little anxiety.
That's it. What do I do? What do I say? So when a lot of the times when people say, no, we got this, we got that, I'd never go. Whereas I always tell my fighters now, remember, boxing is prize fighting. Yeah.
Any opportunity you get.
Any opportunity you can get to get anything.
They're crossing over now, Canelo and Logan Paul. Like you got a boxer and you got a YouTuber.
That's because it's money, innit? Yeah, money talks. We live in a world where money talks.
Even the Tyson fight, that was money.
Man. Come on, man. Tyson could have knocked my man out anytime he wanted, but he didn't, man.
And you can see there's clips of it.
Yeah, because he held back.
And like you say, this is the thing where you go, you turn around and you go, this is what it's coming to now. There's in boxing now, there's fighters out there that should be fighting, but they're not fighting. Why? Because he wants this amount of money or he wants that amount of money. And that's why it's not happening. Do you know what I mean? Fighters are meant to be fighting at their elite. All right, then go back to the Pacquiao-Mayweather thing. They were both done when they're fighting. Why? You know what I mean?
Why? Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, innit?
Because he wants this amount of money or he wants this amount of money, so the fight can't run. Do you know what I mean? It's prize fighting. It's as horrible as it is. Money's taking over.
When do you think boxing turned like that?
Yeah, when do you think it changed?
It's always been like that. It's just that it's always that someone who goes that bit further. It's always that someone who goes that bit further. Do you know what I mean? It's like I say, when I turned pro, I used to spar with Nicky and Jason Booth, both British Commonwealth champions, world champions. They never earned money like what I earn. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then when I've turned over now and I'm winning things, they're mostly looking at me thinking, why? You know what I mean? Now I look at and say what I won as a pro to what lads are fighting for now. Boy, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire right now. Do you know what I mean? If I was boxing this era. But it's like anything. It's like football, isn't it? There's always someone who wants to push that bit further and they get highest paid footballer now. Boom. Yeah. So we've got a new
It's that ego thing, isn't it, man?
You get what I mean? But then it's always that one. It's that one who goes, I'm not doing this unless you pay me this. Whereas people will go, nah. But you always get that one who go, no, we've got to pay him, you know. We've got to pay him. Pay him, boom, there's a new bracket.
All right,
So
give
everyone
us
is
an
on-
example of that going on right now out there.
In where? Is it in the boxing?
Yeah, in the main boxing world.
Eubanks Ben. Who? No disrespect to Ben.
Yeah.
Who's he
Both sick
boxed?
fighters.
Who's he boxed?
Why does he deserve it? That's what you're trying to say, innit?
Who's he
Yeah.
boxed?
Facts.
Yeah, and also I use it as an example to people as well. It shows money controls boxing, not even in like the fighter's point away, in a fighter's career.
Yeah.
So I always use Ben because Ben's well known. If anyone ever seen Ben when he first started, terrible. Yeah, most people are like, yo, this guy couldn't even win a Midlands title, man.
Yeah.
What's he doing? But because he's got all the backing behind him,
Yeah.
they're getting the right fights for him at the right time. At the right time. When we're progressing here. We're progressing here. Do you know what I mean? So there ain't this opportunity like, right, you can fight my man. When you look at it and you go, I don't think I'll beat my man, you know. But I'm getting $6,000. Man can't turn $6,000 down
Yeah,
right
you can't
now.
at this time.
Do you
Yeah,
get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Whereas you got man like Ben now, man, $6,000 is spare change.
Yeah,
So
he's
they're
getting the
going,
big
we
whelp,
got this
innit?
fight. He ain't even introducing no fights like that. They didn't even offer him no fights like that because he's the money man.
Yeah.
Simple as that. He's
And
the money man.
He's made his way
And
there by
he's-
getting that route,
and
innit?
that's it. So the promoter or the manager is the man who makes the money.
Yeah.
So you're the gold card. Simple as that. If I can get you to do this, yeah, I'm taking a percentage of your purse. I ain't gonna do nothing. I ain't getting no punch in the face, but I'm getting paid. So I've just got to make sure I steer it in the right way so I can steer it that you can get to the top. The same as I always say to people about boxing. One thing a lot of people don't understand about boxing is there's big names out there and there's big records out there.
Yep.
Do you get what I mean? It's like when I got offered the Kiko Martinez fight, 21 wins, 21 fights, knocked out more than half. Knocked out Bernard Dunn, who was going to be the next superstar in 60 seconds. Now, when people are going, Munroe's going to fight him, and everyone's like, no, Munroe shouldn't be fighting him, you know. Brr. When you look on a man's record and go,
But look
he's
at the
beat
fight.
him,
Yeah.
he's beat him,
I
but
hear that
he's been
still.
knocked out 6-7 times. He's beat him. So really and truly, he's got one man on his record.
Yeah.
It's Bernard Dunn.
That
And
actually meant something.
and
That
that's
meant,
it.
yeah.
And let's get it right. He caught Bernard Dunn in 60 seconds. So it might have been just that one.
It got him.
All right,
That's
then
it,
he's
yeah.
got that.
Yeah.
So he's there. He's made the name. Do you know what I mean? So from that point of view, when people are going, oh, no, he's too good, and you go, yeah, but who's he for? You know what I mean? And they're the ones where you look at and you go, when you got someone who's steering you right directions,
Then your stats stay good.
this is it. And you look at it and you go, when Kiko Martinez boxed Bernard Dunn, he was there for Bernard Dunn to beat. But it was the record that everyone was looking at. So everyone's going, oh yeah, Martinez, 20 wins, 20 fights, knocked out 19
yeah,
flipping it, man. But really and truly, who he knocked out?
One.
So Bernard Dunn's
Yeah,
meant to knock him out. Do you get what I mean? But it makes Bernard Dunn look good. All right, then he took the chance and he knocked my man out. Now, when it's come to me now and they're going, oh, yeah, Munroe's going to fight him. No, Munroe shouldn't be fighting him. But then I beat him. Oh, what? How good's Munroe now? How good's he just beat my man? He knocked out Bernard Dunn, bear. And this is what people don't see in boxing. And like I say, no disrespect to Ben, because he's done what he's done.
Yeah.
But everything comes about how you steer your career. Now, for me, you look at someone like Campbell Hatton. Yeah? Fair play to the guy. You know, he's done it the real way. Yeah, his dad's a superstar. Now, his dad got dough. His promoter got dough. Now, if he wanted to be steered in that way, he could have been steered in that way. But he said, no. I want to fight the proper fights. I want to fight for the little titles.
Yeah.
And what I try and explain to people is, sometimes you get a better fight off someone fighting for a Midlands title or an area title
100.
than you get someone boxing for a world title. Because you got two lads who are trying to get out in the ghetto.
Yep.
And this
They're
is your
fighting
chance.
for everything
they
want, innit? Yeah,
This
that's
is
it.
this is what you're trying to get out of now. And if you win this is you for the next level. So you get that fight. Whereas a lot of the times you get a lot of world titles now, world title fights. You rarely get a number one versus number two, or should I say, in boxing terms, you have champion number one, number two. You get what I mean? So rarely do you have number one versus the world champion. You'll have champion versus anyone in the top 10.
Yeah,
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, right, I'll give you this opportunity. Same as I always say about Mayweather. I'm always honest in what I say. Mayweather, one of the best around, 100%. Is the greatest ever?
No.
Not really. Why? Because at the times when he's fighting certain people, there's better people out there. When he fought Andre Berto,
100%.
Andre Berto had lost 3, 4 fights, 5 fights. At that time, there was Kell Brook, there was Amir Khan, there was Crawford.
More time,
all
them other
undefeated.
the fighters that he's fighting, they're vulnerable at the time.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
we
you
go.
call them.
Pacquiao wanted him for so
long,
long.
that's it.
So long. The
That's
guy was
it.
calling his
Yeah,
name
yeah.
out like, come on,
Dude.
fight me, fight me,
See,
fight me.
And even like
Blocked
I
him.
say,
And then all
when-
of a sudden,
one
yeah,
of one
fight.
of the biggest fights for me, what I looked at and I thought, and I realized how much of a businessman Mayweather was, when the Canelo Mayweather fight got called, and I was
yeah.
like, ooh, all right, man's getting in with a proper fight
Yeah,
here.
Canelo would have.
Then when they called the weight class, I was like, man, come on, man, this ain't a proper fight, man. Canelo weight drained, man. Yeah, now in
Yeah.
boxing, I don't know if you know what weight drained is.
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
man who are making weights,
Good.
but they can't
They
make the
did
weight.
that to Ryan Garcia against Tank, right?
All right.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
it
yeah,
there?
yeah,
So
yeah.
you
See
get
that.
this. So really and truly, you're getting the name, but you're not getting the fighter.
Yeah. 'Cause he's not at his peak.
All right.
Yeah.
And this is why when people talk to me about the Ben Eubanks fight now, yeah, the Eubanks Jr. and the Conor Ben fight
Ben.
now, who wins? And I'm like, well, they're trying to put a rehydration clause on Eubanks, so he can't weigh so much, he can't do nothing. So whatever happens now, Eubanks turn around and say, well, if I won, you beat half of me.
Yeah.
If I lose, well, of course you're going to win, innit?
It's only
Because
half of
obviously
me.
you've drained me, man. So for me, you look at it and go,
It's a win-win for my man, isn't it?
that's
do you get what I mean? And the win-win is, it doesn't matter what happens in the decision, and his bank account getting full up.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? Let me ask a question here, because a lot of people always wonder this, and I've always wondered this. Yeah, you know how they say, "Oh, the purse is this much," or
Yeah.
How does that work? Obviously, everyone needs to get paid from that purse, right?
Yeah. So basically, how it runs is, I don't know. Say obviously I was with Maloney, so I was contracted to Sky, but I was contracted to Maloney.
Yeah.
So Sky would say, we want Munroe on this show, and we want him to fight a certain person. Yeah. So they'll go, all right, then just for example, we'll give you £200,000. And out of £200,000, you've got to get Munroe and his opponent, you got to get a main undercard, and you got to get everybody else underneath.
Yeah. And everyone's got to get paid.
And
from
everyone's
that.
got to get paid. Yeah? But the way everyone gets paid is the sponsors pay for a lot of it.
Yeah.
So the promoter's already knows what he's got. Yeah, but he's going to say, right, I've got this, but I've got to pay Rendall this.
Yeah.
And I've got to pay Rendall's opponent this.
Yeah.
And then I've got to pay the undercard
Undercards.
this.
Yeah.
But how I make my money now is I get sponsors involved to pay for the ring, I don't know, the ring card girls, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, anything.
All the little bits and bobs.
all the little bits and bobs. And then everyone sells tickets.
Yeah.
And this is how much boxing's become so much of a money thing now that, obviously, like I say, I train pro fighters now. You've got to sell X amount of tickets to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't sell X amount of
You ain't
tickets, you
coming on the
can't
show.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious.
So I remember 4, 5, 6 years ago, Steffi Ball put someone on. Is a manager, ex-fighter, is a manager from up north. I think Doncaster way up there somewhere. And he put on social media, you could be England's next superstar, but if you can't sell 100 tickets, you ain't doing nothing in the boxing game.
Yep.
Yeah, you could be average Joe. Yeah,
And you can sell 100 tickets.
you can sell 100 tickets
Get in.
and you could get knocked out every 7, 8 fights, but you're going to fight regular. Yeah? Because
yeah.
why? Because the man getting paid.
There's bare people that want to see me get knocked out. I bet I
Bad.
beat one.
People pay.
straight
you
up.
get paid.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about next.
I ain't
it.
fighting. Hey, no, I'm not fighting. He tried to choose no. Also, what is it? What's the hardest you've ever been hit, man? Who's hit you the hardest?
Good question.
I'd say, I've always said, Sean Cave is an amateur. I've never been hit as hard as my man before.
Yeah.
Is mate. Me and him had some wars, both Leicester lads. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I think we fought about 2-3 times. Had some wars between us. I think in the pros, I think Carl Johansson. I remember when I was getting ready to fight Kiko, because obviously Kiko is known to be able to punch. Maloney's gone, I got the right sparring partner for you. So I'm like, oh, where? He says, we're going Leeds. At the time, Carl Johansson was smashing everybody. Mate, when you see him hit people, it was like, wow. And then he's gone to me, we're going Leeds to spar with Carl. And I'm like, nah. He's gone, yeah. Just don't make him hit you. I was like, wow. So I remember going up there, man. I was shouting myself all the way in the car, all the way up there.
Yeah.
Got in the gym, started getting warmed up, and my trainer's gone, Rendall, just don't let him hit you. I'm like, yeah. So just moving around, but I'm more thinking just chuck a few punches and stay clear. You know, chuck a few punches. Anyways, he's chucked a hook, and he's caught the head guard, and it was like, and I'm like, wait. You know when you feel the wind like, I'm like, wait. So carried on. Next round's come. He's caught me on the next one, innit? And all I remember is like, beep. That's what I remember, mate. That's all I could. Everything. I just heard a noise going beep, and I'm looking at him like, wow. But then I've seen Maloney out the corner of my eye, and I've just seen Maloney like smiles in like. He's just been hit by him. We ain't got no worries because he can stand up to anybody hitting him if he can hit him. So yeah, Carl Johansson, I reckon one of the hardest I've been in with. It's weird because the only person who's really rocked me, I'd say, was Nishioka when I fought for the world title.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was a weird one because I just remember like my leg just shaking and I'm going back to the corner like, what the fuck's going on here?
Because you never felt that before. No?
That's it. So I'm like, what's going on here? My leg's shaking. Like, what's going on here? So I've gone back to the corner. My trainer's chucking water on my head. And he goes, you all right? I goes, yeah, but my leg started wobbling. He said, yeah, he just hit you. I said, oh, did he? And that was it there. You know when people say it's the speed of a punch that knocked you out, not how hard the punch is. Because man didn't even see nothing. I didn't feel nothing. All I felt was my leg just started shaking underneath me like, wow, what's going on here? And he goes, oh, yeah, he just hit you. And I was like, wow, is it? All right. And I always tell everyone that one of the jokes, because this joke was known as the Speed King.
Yeah.
So I always remember, my little thing was I used to like to have a little bit of a terror. So I used to like back up to the ropes a little bit, Said, come in, and it give me that little, bam, 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 I can get in and have my go. I'm not joking. I remember backing up on the thought, he's going to come. And this is what it felt like. You know, it felt like 100 hand slap till I've jumped at my man like, yo, what's going on here? It felt like man outside the ring was hitting me at the same time. He was hitting me that fast, like, yo. Man's like leaning on the ropes and I've gone, if you ever get a chance to see it, you'll see it. I'm on the ropes, he's gone, blah, blah, and I've just jumped on him, like, I grabbed him, like, yo, what's going on? I was thinking, man outside the ring was hitting me as well. I was getting hit that fast.
Oh, shit.
But,
That's madness.
Was that one of the biggest fights of your life, you reckon?
Yeah, I'd say yeah, but it was. I'd always say the biggest fight for me was Kiko Marcinev, my first European title fight.
You said he's meant to be a hard hitter.
Yeah.
Didn't I see on one podcast that you took one of his hits and you smiled at him?
Yeah. That's what broke him.
That's the one.
That's what
Is
broke
that
him.
what broke him?
That broke him because he hit me, bang,
Was
and
it
I
square?
was
Did
like,
it fully connect everything.
I was like, oh, is that it? Yeah. Yo, this guy's having it now.
I got you
So
now.
all this time I'm thinking, yo, I can't let this guy hit me. I can't. As soon as he hit me, it was like, whoa. And then even like the commentators in the fight, you see the commentators, oh, he just hit Munroe square on. And Munroe smiled at him. And that was the part where, you know, when you just see someone like, I'm in trouble now. You know what I mean? And that was it.
You know, all I can imagine is Kendrick doing his little cheeky smile.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it, yeah.
Is that what you got?
Say your hate.
Is that it, man? That was in there. That was it.
So you know you had a little break. You ended your career when you thought that this is... You fell out of love with the sport, innit? Why was that, do you think?
I think the weight for me was, I was getting hard. It was harder to match the weight now because obviously, like I say, I started boxing as an amateur at 8 stone 10.
Yeah.
I was still boxing at 8 stone 10 as a pro at 30 years old. I think that in the game for me, I think after I boxed for a world title, I always remember coming home on the plane and my manager turned around and he says, oh, you just proved yourself too good for your own good. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? He goes, no, you'll understand. And a bit later on, I kind of got to understand that I'd proved that how good I really am. So the opportunities for fights becoming very scarce. And then it was like, obviously I tried to move from Bologna to Hatton to try and, because I said at one point, can I go over to America and fight and things like that. So I moved to Ricky Hatton as my manager.
Why did you want that as well? Sorry, because there were opportunities out there.
Opportunities, that's it. Because I just wanted to fight. I wanted to be a world champion. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to be a world champion. I've won everything else. Do you know what I mean? So then it just became a point of, oh yeah, you can fight him, we'll pay you this. You can fight him, we'll pay you this.
But
and I'm
it
like,
weren't going to be a challenge.
But it wasn't even the challenge. It was just like, But why am I fighting? Why am I fighting them?
Yeah,
I don't
is
see
there,
the
is
point.
there a reason to be fighting them? Am I going to get somewhere?
Am I
going to
get something out of it? So then I just started to fall out of the love. Obviously, I boxed Scott Quigg, and I think the first time I boxed him, it was like, I always tell everyone in my whole career, I never put no pressure on myself because I used to just believe that if I win, I was meant to win. If I lose, I wasn't meant to win. Simple as that. Where with the Scott Quigg thing now, it was that one where it was like, I have to win, and I have to win good, otherwise my career's done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I put so much pressure on myself, and he headbutted me in the fight. I don't care what anyone wants to tell me. A clash of heads, not. He headbutted me in the fight. He split my eye from one side to the next. And that was the point then where I thought, it's done, man.
Not for me anymore.
What's the point, man? It's not for
If
me.
you could go back and do things differently, what would you change and why?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd change anything really. I think because I had a great time. I did everything I weren't supposed to do.
Would you have held back? And so I know that you said sometimes you showcase too much of what you're about, and that's why fights are scarce.
No, I think, like you say, sometimes opportunity knocks in it, to call it. You know what I mean? You've either got the backing behind you to do it, or you ain't. I could turn around and say, if I'd have turned pro earlier, could it have been a bit different? Because then from a business point of view, because like I tell everyone, it's a business.
Yeah.
The manager's all about, or the promoter's all about how much money can they make off you. Simple as, how much money can they make off you? Now, when I'm ready to fight for world titles and things like that, I'm 30 years old. So you look at it in the pro careers, people are retiring at 30 years.
Yeah.
Some people don't even get to that age. So for me, I'm at the pinnacle at 30. So realistic, they're going, right, he's got 2 years left. How much money can I really make off him?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So when you got fighters out there going, I'll fight him, but I want £300,000.
They look at you like
I want this.
You got a sell by date, basically.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like
sad,
that.
Man.
Yes, we can get in the fights, but to get in the fights, we have to invest the money. But if we got long enough to make back the money with profit, do you get what I mean? That's how it works.
And also, one more question before we move on from the boxing. How would you like to be remembered as a fighter?
I fought anyone and everyone. I became #1 in the world. I fought world champions. I beat world champions. Simple as that, innit?
Your legacy's there now, innit?
Yeah,
you know
your
it's
legacy's
there, man.
there. It's
Like I
tattooed,
say,
man. It's there.
everything for me, English champion, Commonwealth champion, European champion, WBA, international champion, WBC #1.
Yo, man, of
you know what I mean?
right there, man.
I won
Royalty.
all boxing's awards. I remember, I think one of the jokes I got when I was saying to you earlier about going places. I never really used to go anywhere. When people used to invite me anywhere, and I always remember getting a phone call off the boxing news one day. Oh, we've got the boxing board of control. So, like every fighter who's recording in England is going to these awards. But I never really used to go. You used to say, oh, you're invited to go. But for some reason, I got the boxing board of control ringing me up. Oh, are you coming?
Make sure you come to this.
Are you coming? And I'm like, yeah, I might come to this one. No, you got to come to this one. So I'm like, okay, then my manager's on my case. Like, we're going, Rendall, we're going. So I'm like, okay. And I'll never forget, we're on this table. So I've been nominated for Fight of the Year, Boxer of the Year. I'd just been given an award for European Champion of the Year, and I got that 2-3 times on the bounce.
Sick.
So
Yeah, man.
the boxing board of control, like, look at it this way, you got Nazim Hamid won it, Chris Eubanks won it, Conor Benn won it, Calzaghe's won it. You know,
Big
like
names, big
superstars in boxing. So we've gone to this event now. So I've gone in, and I'm thinking, you know, when you just, I'm a small fish in the big pond here.
Big
You
pond,
get me?
yeah.
Everyone's like, Rendall Munroe. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm Rendall, yeah. So we're sitting on this table. So I'm sitting on the table, I'm managing my trainer and a few sponsors on the table. So we're just talking away. Anyway, they're going through the awards and they leave the big one till last.
Yeah.
So they've gone, the nominees for this award is, I think at the time it was nominated, I don't know if Calzaghe was on there, Ian Napper, David Hay, Nathan Cleverley. Obviously, I'm in there. I'm sure there was in there. There's a few of them. I've been in there a few times with them. So, but I've been nominated for Fight of the Year 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I never go. So I'm like, you know what I mean?
But
so,
did you know you were nominated, yeah?
Yeah. Because you
That's
get
why
told
they
you're
run you,
nominated.
yeah.
So, but then they've nominated me before. I've been nominated 3 years in a row for the same
That's
one
crazy.
award.
And you never went then?
I've never
went.
been. Never been. So anyway, I'm just there and I'm talking to these sponsors on the table, and they've gone, we're gonna think here, and the nominees are blah blah blah, and the winner is. So I'm just talking to this guy and they've gone, Rendall Munroe, and I'm still talking to the guy. I'm like, You know, because I'm thinking, hey, man's gonna make a mistake here. So I'm just talking like I don't look like a div. You get me? Turn around like, yeah. Oh no, sorry, mate, it's not you. You get me? So that's it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, just talking away. And the guy's gone, Rendall Munroe. So I'm like, yeah, the guy's gone, that's you, you know. I goes, yeah, I know that's me. He goes, no, you've won. And I'm like, oh, is it? What? So I've looked up at the guy on the stage and he's gone, yes, Rendall, you've won. And I'm like, all right, nice. So I've gone up, put my blazer on, done my blazer up, right, I've gone up to the thing. I'm standing there, I'm looking at everyone. And he's gone, do you want to say hello? I says, thank you. Walked off. I walked off.
Cheers,
and I'm like, what do I do? I don't know. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do.
You didn't prepare for that one, did it?
And that's it. And then, like, say to me, stand up there. And so, like, when you look at it and go, the awards-wise in boxing, I've been given, like you say, I was invited to a WBC convention of all the champions.
Sick.
Because I was named number 1 in the world by the WBC. So I went there, Klitschko, mate, you name it, there was all there. Klitschko, Zab Judah, all the champions was there. Do you know what I mean? All the champions. So I remember I was talking to a boxer in the hotel room. So it was in the hotel hall, ready to go in. I'm talking to a boxer. So talking, just talking about boxing. He's like, but his English weren't very good. But you know, like you try to have a conversation with someone. And then obviously, as we've walked off to go to the venue place now, it was in the place. And my trainer's gone, you know that, isn't it? I says, nah, man. But he knows about his boxing. So he goes, you know, I said, nah, man. He goes, that's Roberto Duran. I was like, oh, is it?
Oh, shit.
I was like, oh, is it?
He's just chatting to you casually in that.
Superstar of superstars in boxing. I'm just chatting to him like it's just a norm. You know what I mean? But that's how I am. You know, like, for me, it was never that, oh, yeah, such and such is over there. I need to have a photo. I think the only one photo I ever did ask to be taken with anyone was Zab Judah. I was a massive Zab Judah fan. And Zab Judah was at the convention. I was like, can I have a photo, mate? That's it, I have all of them.
What's the wildest thing that ever happened in your boxing career? The wildest thing that you can remember out of it?
I don't know, you know. I just think my boxing career was wild in general. Do you know what I mean?
Career,
like, say everything.
Like,
say to be coming from nothing to even like, I always remember my first pro fight. And I think I was on the undercard to Nicky and Jason Booth. They were fighting for world titles. And we've gone to the weigh-in at the hotel. And then I was like, oh, do I go home now? And they're like, no, you stayed in the hotel.
Tonight.
Like, man's never stayed in a hotel before. What do I do? And they go, no, that's your room. And for the first 4, 5, 6 times in the hotel,
Felt different,
you know them little creams and shampoos and things? Man used to take them home.
I can't know, man, still take them over.
My missus used to say, what are you doing? I said, you never know, I might never get a chance to go back in the hotel again, innit? So at least I can say I've been in a hotel. You know what I mean?
That's it, man.
All right, I think now's the time. Let's move on to
let's move on.
IFP. First of all, how did that come about?
Yeah, man.
Well, really.
And what did it stand for, first of all? Tell them.
Icon Fighting Promotions.
Yep.
So it came about, obviously a few of us have been talking for a while about setting up a boxing event. Obviously, as you can see, loads of boxing events are happening now. So, but we was talking about it, but we always said that if we was going to do one, it has to be different. It can't be the same as everybody else's.
Yeah.
So it's been up there in that, talked about for a while. Obviously, me, Harry Singh, Emerson George, Andre Winner, Jermaine Smile. Obviously, we've all been talking for a while. But then it was nothing ever said about it because it was like, what do we do? How do we make it different? And then someone said the other day, well, a while ago, let's do an MMA versus boxer headline. So then you're going, yeah, but it's already been done before.
Yeah.
So my thing was, it's already been done before. And what you'll always find is the MMA fighter, he's the one that has to change what he's doing.
Yeah. He's switching up his lifestyle.
You won't see a boxer go into a pentagon, into an octagon.
So we're like, no, but this is how we're going to make it different now. So the MMA fighter and the boxer can do the same, but to a degree. So I've always said, like you say, when you got like your Ngannou's and your AJ's and your Fury's and that fighting, Ngannou has to go to the gym and try and change what he does. Because his stance has to change, the way he throws has to change, everything has to change. AJ Fury, they go to the gym and just do what they normally do.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
they're
no different.
yep.
So they ain't got to think no different. They just do what they normally do.
And that's all muscle memory and shit
That's
as
it.
well.
Yeah.
So we was like, no. How can we make it so it puts it on a level playing field? So the way we've done it is, you can't kick, you punch, but we use smaller gloves.
Yep.
You can grapple. You can do takedowns. On the takedowns, you only have 30 seconds on the floor. Then you stop, get up. Yeah. You can do submission holds, but you only do submission holds on the top half.
Okay.
So now it's going right. The boxer who wants to fight against the MMA fighter, so we're calling it a hybrid discipline.
Yeah,
Yeah. You've got to learn. You've got to learn a new discipline now. Yeah. So it makes it level playing field. So now the boxer has to start thinking, right, if man gets me down on the floor,
What am I doing?
what am I doing? Yeah. If he tries to get him in the submission hold, how can I get him out? Or how can I get on the floor for 30 seconds knowing that I can get off and get back up and start again? Whereas the MMA fighter will always go, right, I have to watch because I can't do this. And I always say, I've sparred with many MMA fighters, many kickboxers. They can't beat a fighter. They can't beat a boxer because their stance is different. They throw in certain angles so their legs can do something so they can grapple. So all them angles go out the window when it comes to boxing. Do you know what I mean? So now doing it this way, it's a level playing field. It's a level playing field. So as you can see, we put it out there and everyone's all on it now. April the 5th, the Mayor Centre. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It'll be the first one where, like I say, it's not even been done anywhere else before. No one's ever done it before.
It sounds like a good one as
No,
well.
no one's
You
ever
know what
done
it
it.
is as well,
I'm intrigued. I'm fully intrigued.
Obviously, because you all are professional fighters and you've fought and you've lived this whole life, you guys are going to be the best ones to do the events, I reckon. That was my personal view, innit? So, yeah, man, you got some big names as well there for Leicester as well, man. And obviously yourself, so...
That's it. Like you say, I think it's one of them, even, I don't know, Harry's talking, obviously... We were saying, we're going to do this one in April, then we might put another one in November. And then he's saying, Rendall, man, why didn't you make a comeback, innit? So I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, let's get a vets league. Ex-professional boxers, got to be 35 plus. And I'm like, I'm game if anybody else is game.
I think we're set them up behind it, you know?
You know what I mean?
Trust me,
The
man.
thing is, like I was talking, like to say now,
it.
I train fighters now.
Yeah.
But I get in there and I spar my fighters all the time. Do you know what I mean? I'm 45 this year. Age is just a number. Do you know what I mean? You get in there. I can't believe I've been here with so many lads, and everyone's like, "Rendall, you need to make a comeback. You know, you need to make a comeback." And I'm saying, it's different, innit, man. I enjoy what I'm doing, but they always say, once you're a boxer, you're always a boxer. Simple as it's hard to get out of it.
Like I said, muscle memory, innit,
Yeah,
man?
man. You just love doing what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
How is the camp going?
Yeah. Everything's going good. Like you say, we've got 10 novices in.
Yeah.
Obviously, so basically the way we're doing it is like we've got a novice, so I'll train all the novices. So it's a bit like how can you call it? A bit like a charity boxing type of thing. So you have the novices. I train all the novices. I match all the novices up, and then you get the what would you call it? The intermediates, where different people are fighting from different gyms.
Yep.
You get what I mean? So they're matching up from different gyms, and then you got the headline and the hybrid fighters, Craig Turner, Marcus Mee. You know what I mean? So. We're up there. So first one, hoping it goes well, and then from that point on, you know what I mean? IFP could be smashing it, going everywhere.
Yeah, no, love for that, man. That's gonna be sick.
Do you want to tell them where they can find IFP?
Yeah, man.
Online, IFP Promotions. He's on Instagram. Obviously, I don't know if Harry set up a website yet, but all that's going to come. Like I say, it's something new. We've got to go with the flow and ride with it. But like I say, on Instagram, IFP Promotions.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what I mean?
follow it straight.
Anything else? I think that's it. We've been through it all.
Yeah, man, we've been through it all, I think.
Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Cool, man, cool.
Oh, actually, I do want to ask, what advice would you give to young boxers?
Oh, yeah.
What advice? Mate, just go in there and have fun. Go in there, have fun. It's like one of them ones where you go, I always tell people, there's when you're an amateur fighter, there's two ways you look at it. You either want to be an amateur superstar looking for England, winning ABAs, or you're looking at the other side to it where I'm using it as my apprentice. I always say to everyone, amateur is an apprentice professional. Yeah? So I'm out there to learn my trade. I'm going to make a few mistakes. I might not win every fight, but when it counts, it's in the pros. That's when it counts. And that's why, like I say, I still go to a few amateur shows here and there. Obviously, I've got my amateurs training license, so I train a couple of amateurs as well. So I'll always say to them, when I see kids getting upset in the amateurs, I'll always go over and say, remember, the amateurs is your experience. Yeah, it's your apprentice. Use me as an example. I had 40 amateur fights. I lost 10. I went on to be number 1 in the world as a professional.
That's how you grow in it, man. In anything in life, I think that's how you grow, man. You always have to lose to become the best.
Well, I always tell everyone, it shouldn't be called loss. It's called learn.
Yeah, we always
It's not loss, it's called learn. As long as you know you can go back into your training camp, into your gym, and go, what went wrong? That's when you know you. If you go back and you go, well, I don't know, you got a problem. Because you need to find out what went wrong.
You need to find out.
Do you know what I mean? So as long as you know, say that when you got the learn, crack on with what you're doing.
Facts.
Sponsors. Well, all the best for the future anyway. Sponsors, big up. Let's go with Gypsy Lane Chippy first, because I went there today.
Gypsy Lane Chippy, man.
Good things to say about you, I can't even lie, man.
Big man. When I was around the edge, that used to be it. And when I used to play football as well, they sponsored my football team as well.
Big up, man.
Big up, Anton. Man made barbers each and every fucking time. Got cut by the boss man Satch today. Or Satch the other day, no.
Big up Chili guys. Big
Always
up
spicy ones.
Spicy ones. FNK Flooring.
Yeah, man.
Flexi Vehicle Hire. And thank you to that's the podcast studio each and every time.
Yeah, I just want to say a quick one as well.
Yeah, go on.
Like you say, I got a few lads that I work with, professional lads. Obviously, Joe Ducker. You know what I mean? Been around a while. You know what I mean? He's what they call like the road warrior. Been there. Won titles at 2 weight classes. He's hopefully going to win a next one at a next weight class again. Sean Bruce, going places. Obviously, Midlands champion at the minute. Hopefully fighting for an English title next. And the one for me, Irish Joe. I call him Irish Joe. It's crazy because everyone always used to say to me, how'd you get Irish Joe? So I says, I got Joe and I got Joe. So when they used to be sparring, I say, Joe, you got to do this. And they both used to look at me and go, what's going on? So now I got one Irish Joe and Joe. So Irish Joe moved over here from Ireland. Contacted me one time, says, oh, look, if I move over here, would you train me? You know what I mean? I'm thinking about coming over here, moving over with family and that. He is a name to watch. Joe Mooney. I call him Irish Joe. Do you know what I mean? But good kid. And like I say, if anyone shows dedication, he's moved away from his family to come over here to train. Add 2-1-2 at the moment, and I can see big things happen to him.
Good luck to Joe, man.
Fully.
Yeah,
man. Joe, Sean. Yeah, man, shout them up, man.
Facts.
You know what we might have to do as well? Just get them both on at the same time.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to train in gym, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, let's get to the gym.
Let's
Let's do
We'll
that.
do a session up there, man. Like, yo. Don't expect me to put no gloves on. Yo, don't even look
just
at me
about to
like
say that,
short
man.
form content. RJ gets banged in it. No.
Go do it once, man.
No.
Yo, it's a wrap.
Take care. Peace.